Good afternoon. I'm sure you've all been to a pantomime. Shall we start again? Good afternoon. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you for coming to Haynes Motor Museum this lovely bank holiday weekend. This is one of our running vehicle or outdoor running vehicle displays. Call it what you will. We do these subject to the weather, subject to having enough volunteers to drive the cars, and subject to the cars working, as we'll see in a minute. If you are expecting burnouts, donuts, Top Gear tomfoolery, maybe find a different demonstration. What's going to happen is each of the cars will go a few laps to the paddock, peeping their horns, flashing their lights, hopefully staying in one piece, and I'll tell you some information about them as they go round. Now once each car is back in its original position, once each car's done their little bit, you're more than welcome to come inside the paddock, have a chat to the volunteer drivers, have a sit in the cars, except this one, and yeah, ask any questions you want. We'll just ask that you lift your feet, and please, however tempting it may be, if you got inside my car and you started altering the directional flow and geometry of the airflow that comes out of my car, I'm going to slap your wrists. Please do not press any buttons, please do not move any air vents, or think you're James Bond in any of these cars. They are quite brittle, to say the least. But you, yeah, hop in, have your photograph taken, just please don't press any buttons or do anything else. Please keep your arms excitable 60-year-olds that side of the barrier until we say so. Shall we see if we can get this going? Okay, our first car, or vehicle, and our oldest one is a 1956 Heinkel Kabine. I don't think there's many people along this barrier who can remember 1956, but this is what some vehicles used to look like. It was a Micra car designed by Heinkel and built by them from 1956 to 1958. Production was transferred under license to the Dundalk Engineering Company in Ireland in 1958. However, that licence was withdrawn shortly afterwards due to poor quality control. Production restarted in 1960, again under licence, and the car then was made by Trojan Cars Limited, and it was called the Trojan 200. If you've been inside the museum and been in the new British Icons Gallery, you'll see a Trojan car in there. As you can see, wherever he's gone, it's got 2 seats, well 4 technically. 2 seats and a bench that can fit 2 very small people on the back. A single cylinder, first one, 174cc engine. The top speed is around 54 miles an hour. And as you might have seen Stuart getting in and out of the car, you enter and exit by the front door. So the sunroof is your emergency exit if somebody parked in front of you. This car does have reverse though, I understand the early ones didn't. It was popular, 27,000 sold, and a further 6,000 Trojan examples. Now a certain boss of a certain motor company hated these things, and he gave his team a little project. And that project was to get rid of these cars but create a genuine 4-wheeled car with seating for 4 adults, a little bit of luggage space, and was really frugal. What car was that? Mini, correct. So it was the Mini that came along which sort of sealed the fate of this car. Now, like most things nowadays, there's very little original thought. So we go back into the archives and we go, oh, let's create another Fiat 500. Based on a Fiat Panda, Fiat car, but there we go. Anyway, there's a company, a Swiss company called Microlino. They created the Microlino, and for those of you maybe in your 30s, 40s, you might remember that little two-wheel scooter that you zipped around on and thought you were really cool. It's the same company that made that scooter that are now making an electric quadricycle, which is very much based on this car. Now this car that Stuart's just driven around has been restored by some of the volunteers here at the museum. Thanks, Stuart. Andrew. So we'll leap forward a decade and a bit from the 1950s. Now for you youngsters, you teenagers, you might think a supercar is a Ferrari or a Maserati or a McLaren or, I don't know, right, Koenigsegg. But this, younger ones, this is a supercar. A supercar from the 1970s. This is a 1971 Ford Escort Mexico. Now the Ford Escort made its show debut at the Brussels Motor Show in January of 1968, and it had been designed to replace the successful and long-running Anglia. But Ford had got an even bigger commercial success on their hands with the Escort. After just 6 years of production, Ford announced the completion of the 2 millionth Ford Escort, a milestone unmatched by any Ford model outside the US. How many people likes football? Oh, not that many. Oh, shy. Anyway, in 1970, the greatest World Cup ever held was in Mexico. The greatest World Cup final was that final between Brazil and Italy. The greatest goal ever scored was in that final. Kids, anybody who's not interested in football, look it up on YouTube or other streaming platforms. Now, as part of that sort of celebration of that World Cup, there was the London to Mexico World Cup Rally, which Ford entered in a modified Ford Escort. And they did rather well. So the marketeers back at Ford HQ thought, we can make some money on this. So they created the Escort Mexico, special edition road versions, which they introduced in November of 1970. They went on to build 10,352 of them. This looks relatively like a normal standard Escort, but they used body shells with additional strengthening in high stress areas and various other little tweaks that they put on them. Now I said many of you have maybe been to a pantomime, bit of customer, bit of visitor interaction here. So if you bought an Escort Mexico way back when in the 70s, you could upgrade your car if you so wanted. You could have a stripe kit. Somebody gets it right over there, well done, sir. You could have a sunroof. This side next to me. I don't like that side. They're not going to get that one after I'm a vinyl roof. A map reading light. Bit too enthusiastic, sir. And various other bits and bobs on top. This car does sport many of those optional extras. Our car was first registered on the 1st of August 1971. It's been at the museum now for around about 35 years. Now before coming here, it was a competition car. In the car you'll see a photograph of the car in action at the Exeter Classic Car Trials. Now the chap who's driving it, no crash helmet. We can't tell if the expression he has is one of joy or terror. I'll let you make the decision around that one. So let's call it a 1600cc engine, not to 60 in 10 seconds, and then to a top speed of 99 miles an hour. So by modern standards, almost everything in that car park will do very similar. Now, the magic word Mexico. I quite like the standard Mark 1 Escort. I'd have one of those. I'd be able to get one for around about £10,000, a nice one. If you add that magic word Mexico to it, you need to start finding several more £1,000s. They start from around about £45,000–50,000 and upwards, if it's original. And I'll leave it right there. Who's next? Alistair. So we're still in the 1970s, a bit of British muscle now. That's American, isn't it? Anyway, an MGB GT V8, so it's a factory car. In total, 512,000 MGB GTs were built from 1962 until 1980. And of these, only 2,591 had the V8 engine fitted. Some 600 are still running today. This is one of them. It was launched in 1973. Now my text here could have been written out. Well, it was written down. There we go. The V8 version was launched in 1973, just as the country was suffering an oil crisis caused by conflict in the Middle East. Where have we heard that before? So not the best time to launch a V8 sports car. MG also had to wait in line for supplies of the V8 engine, as its main use was in the Rover 3500 and the Range Rover. The car that Alistair's driving is his own car. It was produced in 1974 and first registered in Burnley, Lancashire. Alistair's done quite a bit of work for that car. So if you would like a little bit of a closer look at it when you come into the paddock, please ask Alistair first. 137 brake horsepower, top speed of 123 miles an hour, and a 0 to 60 time of 8.6 seconds. Its price range is £2,294. Hands up if you go to sleep on the bank. Perfect. All right. Let's go to the 1980s, shall we? So I'm sure you're going to come to Haynes Motor Museum today to see some fine cars, Triumphs, MGs, Rolls Royce, that multi-million-pound Duesenberg just behind that wall there. And we present to you one of the finest cars that the museum has. I heard laughter. And this is a 1985 Nissan Micra. Now this is just my commentary. I think this is the best car here. I believe, personally, cars are a bit too big nowadays, a bit too heavy, way too much tech on them. We use hardly any of the car's capacity. What's our average speed? 30 miles an hour? You know, average journey time, a journey length less than 5 miles. Anywho, Nissan have been producing the Micra since 1982. They introduced it into Europe in June of 1983. You can either have 49 or 54 horsepower, and if you so wished, a 5-speed manual or an automatic gearbox. It was one of several important small cars to be launched into Europe in 1983. So it had some stiff competition. That competition was the Fiat Uno, the Peugeot 205, the Vauxhall Nova, and the second generation Ford Fiesta. But the Micra in all its guises has sold very well. In 1989 alone, they sold 50,000 of them. Unlike most of these cars, it's gained a good reputation for reliability and economy. And at a constant 56 miles an hour, when you're not blowing the horn, it could achieve 67 miles to the gallon. Whose car can achieve that now? Not many. This car is quite special to the museum. It was donated by the son of the first owner of the car, the son of the first owner of the car. Now, way back in 1985, let's call him Mr. X, was looking for a dependable runaround for his wife. The choice fell to this Micra or a Ford Fiesta. Why did they choose the Micra? Cost? Maybe. This car came fitted as standard with a medium wave FM radio. The Fiesta didn't. No one knew tunes in that car. So let's have a look. It's 1985, so it's 40 years old. It's just been over 66,000 miles. Barely running. And of course now it's a classic, so legally no MOT or vehicle excise duty needed on it. That's why I think it's the best car here. Because if you want a practical, modern classic, and if you can find one, get one of these. So we've got vehicles of all shapes and sizes here at Haynes Motor Museum, and this is one that always tends to bring a smile to people's faces. It does so because that cloud of gas makes you smile. Anyway, this is a 1994 Bajaj Auto Rickshaw. Is it working? No, it's not. I'll continue. If anybody's been to, Sri Lanka or Thailand or places like that, you've probably been a taxi for you, or you might have been to the Glastonbury Festival and bought a coffee out the back of one of these things. They're everywhere. Bajaj, who make them, create 750,000 of them annually. So they're a good seller. Sheet metal bodywork, when it works. 3 wheels, and the power that Alistair is, or would be controlling, is a quite significant 7 brake horsepower from a single cylinder 145cc engine. Its top speed is 22 miles an hour. I'm not sure I'd like to be in it once doing that. Is it going to go? Can it do a lap? Cheer it on, folks, cheer it on. Cheer the tuk-tuk around. Oh, one more lap if you can. So if you can ride a bike or a scooter, that sort of thing, you'll love one of these because all the controls except 2 are on the handlebars. And it's nice and lightweight, easy to fix, and really simple to run. You can buy it in the UK, £6,000 for a petrol run, and like many vehicles, they're being converted to alternate fuels. So a battery one is going to take you about £16,000. And for those of us a certain vintage, you might remember a tuk-tuk featured in the James Bond film Octopussy, and more recently the last Indiana Jones film, where they were blipping around the streets of Tangier. Thanks all! Okay, let's have a look. We're getting a bit more modern now. So the tuk-tuk was in 1994. This Mustang is 2005. It's a V8 GT. Top speed of 143 miles an hour and 0 to 60 time of 4.9 seconds from its 300 brake horsepower. Now in the museum we have 2 lovely examples of the Mustang. The sort of teal coloured one in reception and a red one in the red room. Now after that 1960s version, the original, Ford sort of lost their way a bit with the Mustang. It became a bit too big, a bit too ugly, dare I say, and it really was failing them. So they needed a car that could reignite, reflame, restart, whatever it is, the love of the Mustang. And this was that car. So they launched it in late 2004. And it was known internally at Ford as the S197. They've been developing it over a 3-year period. There was a vehicle team that did that. They created an all-new platform or chassis for it, which is still being used in the current iteration of the Mustang. That new chassis enabled it to sort of have some of those retro looks and styling. If you look at this one and then look at the 1960s version, you'll see a sort of bit of lineage there, a bit of design. Now this car, great at going in a straight line. Absolutely fabulous. People loved it. And then they wanted to do other things with it, like maybe go around corners or do other things, which they didn't really like. So that was the main criticism of this car. The live rear axle, perfect for drag racing, not so great for other road handling. Now another special car, this for us, it's torch red by the way, if you're interested in colours. Now the Haynes Publishing Group, based here in the UK, they took apart cars and they took photographs of them, they did illustrations. The Haynes Publishing Group, the sister group in the US, did exactly the same. And this was the car that they used to create the Haynes manual for this iteration of Mustang. we've got pictures of this car in bits, so hopefully Stuart's not going to be on the wrong end of a screw or a nut or a bolt being missing. Oh, let's bring it in, shall we? Thanks, Stuart. So from one very agricultural car to something a little bit more sophisticated. I'd take neither of those cars home though, especially this last one. I've got it stuck, hasn't he? Can you turn it on? Go on, Alan, it'll go on. Go on. This is a 2019 Honda Civic Type R. A bit of front wheel drive madness. It's based on the 10th generation Civic and it's the 5th Type R variant. As you can see, it's very angular, aggressive looking front wheel drive hot hatch. But not a very compromised hot hatch. There's ample seating for adults in there. And if you pop into Tesco, other large international supermarkets are available. Plenty of space in the boot for your big shop. As you can see, it's got a sort of various carbon fibre effect bits and bobs in there. There's red badges, red calipers. There's big tail packs at the back. Bit of a lip here. And that wing on the back, which does nothing really. On the 3rd of April 2017, the pre-production Type R achieved a lap time of 7 minutes and 43 seconds on the Nürburgring. Almost 7 seconds faster than its predecessor, setting at the time a new record for front-wheel drive cars. This car has a 4-cylinder, 2-litre engine delivering 329 brake horsepower, so certainly the fastest car here. A top speed of 169 miles an hour, and just a little bit slower to 60 than the Mustang in 5.4 seconds. Now this car has come direct from Honda. They were having a bit of a clear out in Swindon, not sure why. They gave us this car and another white Type R. That other white Type R, as you've been to the museum before, has been on display. It's a cutaway version. So Honda built the car and then took away the body panels from one half of the car and cut away the seats and things as well. So you can see how they put it together. This car is a prototype for a special edition or limited edition Type R that Honda built only in sunlight yellow. They built 1,020 of them and 20 were destined for the UK. And all 20 UK cars were sold sight unseen in an hour for just under £40,000. It's a bit of a mongrel, this car. It's left-hand drive, as you can see. Doesn't have aircon. It does have an infotainment screen. So there's various bits and bobs in there that we used as a test bed for the actual Type Rs and the limited edition Type R. Now £40,000 is probably a bit of a bargain for this car. Certainly if you've got a handy racetrack near you and you can take it on there. Back in 2023 though, back 2 years ago, one was sold with delivery miles only on it for just short of £100,000. Which is quite a lot of money for a fast shopping trolley. Yes, there we go, we'll leave it at that. But hopefully that car will be sat in some nice garage somewhere, appreciating in money for its owner. Thank you, Alan. So that's all we've got for you today, folks. Thank you very much for your time, patience. And as soon as Alan's finished, we'll open that gate. If you would like to come in, chat to the drivers, please do. And just remember, please lift your feet, please don't press any buttons. Thank you very much.
It's first essential, isn't it?
Oh yeah. No power windows.
You know what all the pieces do?
Banging them days, didn't they?
Yeah, so these are like
I'm going to sit in my favourite car.
My best mate's mum's union school. It was red.
Felix?
Sorry?
I'd never park it. I would never park it.